All right, day 17. I talk about how I broke my record for the longest fast I've ever done. And before I even started that fast, I was already down almost 10 pounds. Okay. And this is water only and dopamine fasting as well at the same time. I just talk about how grateful I am that I haven't had a problem with edging or peaking or nothing like this. Everything's been purely hard mode. Achieving just one of these things would have been an amazing thing for me just 17 days ago. I was dreaming and fantasizing about accomplishing just a few of these things. Okay, if I fell down right now, I would real quick realize that I had what I had. I'm the luckiest guy in the world right now, and I need to really appreciate that. There's a bunch of other stuff written here. I'm not going to go through it all. I feel as if I got some great insights when you're meditating and you're doing your affirmations and things like this, which is something I need to work on more. You need to really, really, really believe that you're doing these things. Okay. So day 17, there's a lot of chatter just between myself there. Okay, day 18 is where things really blow up. I had a coffee that day. I've limited myself to one coffee, two coffees actually, but one coffee day every 10 days, right? And my mental state explodes when you introduce a good amount of moderation to your caffeine intake, okay? Because when you drink coffee every day, it doesn't do anything after a while, right? It doesn't do at all anything. But if you drink coffee once every 2 days and you mix it with some fat like coconut oil or butter, then you're gonna feel huge difference in your mental state. Okay, you're gonna be much sharper. It's insane. So this day I did this. Okay, and I just blew up. I have like 3 pages of information here. First thing I noticed is I noticed that I had faster hair growth on day 18. My voice got deeper around this time also. Okay, I noticed a white foam that sort I would get after edging, after I take my morning piss. Although I didn't have any particularly sexual dreams anymore, they've all basically stopped now a few days ago. Um, okay, the bottom line is dreaming much less about sexual encounters, but I'm seeing the white foam anyways, which is weird. And I'm attributing this to, well, my theory is my body and mind are going through radical changes and I am progressing. The white foam is probably the excess lubricant the body produces being discharged. Because I know I'm not having wet dreams. I definitely know it's not. It's definitely not that. Uh, it's not being used. The body continues to produce it. Okay. Um, Okay, and then I talk about the wrestling match, the mental wrestling match you have with yourself whenever you indulge. You know, if you have an unhealthy relationship with food like I had for a while, you'll indulge in like high calorie foods and you'll go over your calorie limit even though you just did a bunch of cardio and you've been really strict with yourself lately. Maybe you're the guy that can't just have one beer. You have that temptation for that second beer, right? And then you have that mental wrestling match, whatever it may be. Maybe it's before studying. You have to give that, that's again, goes back to resistance. But if you picture it as somebody trying, as your twin, your evil twin trying to wrestle with you in your brain, you have to always find a way to win this battle, man. You have to be conscious of it, take a step back and be like, whoa, this is actually happening, right? Um, yeah. So I even came to the conclusion that maybe I should leave high calorie foods laying around the table on my fasts, on my dopamine fasts, and look at them and take note of the temptations that I'm having in my brain. Or go for a beer on like a semi empty stomach after a nice cardio session where it really hits you and you feel like extra buzzed. And then you're just tempted to have that second beer so bad. And then sit there and like sit back and just watch what's happening in your brain. How is your brain trying to rationalize this? How is your animal instincts trying to rationalize this, right? I talk a lot about that in this, man, the mental wrestling match. And try to find a solution to this and start training your brain to overcome the animalistic side of you, okay? The only thing I know to help myself with winning this mental wrestling match, the only thing that to this day that I know works is meditation. Okay, lots of it every day, especially at the beginning of your nofap streak. Journaling now, intense cardio. Okay, and being mindful. Okay, understanding what's happening. How is your animalistic side rationalizing all this? Okay. Okay, now at this point, I'm saying that this is day 18. My urges are becoming extremely strong. It's getting really tough to it's getting really tough to overcome them. Okay. Now I have another page here. And on this day, I started getting into self-actualization a lot. I realized that you don't have to go to school and study Maslow's work, okay? Maslow was basically the guy that, at a time when all the psychologists were studying people who were screwing up their life and why they were screwing up their life and what drove people to screw up their life, he was the one guy that went the other direction, and he started studying ultra high achievers and what was common among them. Um, Basically, I realized on day 18, Thomas Huxley says that the biggest trait of a self-actualizer is getting yourself up to do the thing that needs to be done, but you don't want to do. Remembering, of course, that self-actualization is at the top of Maslow's hierarchy pyramid, right? So getting yourself to do the things that you don't want to do. That is the main trait among self-actualizers, the top 5%, the people you look at and you wish that you had their car or their house or their life, right? These are people who are doing the things that need to be done, overcoming resistance. Again, back to resistance. Okay. If you really want to ask the universe for something and tap into the power of the subconscious mind, you need to mix it with emotion. Okay, that's another insight that I had. These are all things that I pondered about deeply, and I would just express them in single sentences. And you don't need to know the details. You don't need to know everything. These videos would be hours long if I was going to put everything on video. You just have to trust me on this, okay? Trust me, this is true. A positive emotion, not negative, is also extremely important. That you stay in a positive mood throughout the day. As like attracts like, right? So you stay positive, you're gonna have positive things happen to you in your life. And I know this sounds esoteric, but man, there's something to it. I know science will explain it sooner or later, because I've experienced this way too many times to sit there scratching my head wondering why it works. I just know it works. Positive attracts positive, right? So okay, so positive will attract positive, and this isn't far-fetched. For example, think of the house dog, the dog that's always happy to see you, that's always like running, and it's like the happiest day of his life when he sees you. How do you feel when you meet a person that acts like that? Somebody who's so happy and energetic and positive to see you, And I didn't even mean to reference how to win friends and influence people. But afterwards, I kind of realized, wait a minute, that's like a line from that's one of the lines from that book, which always stood out. It's just a coincidence, okay, that I came to this conclusion also. Okay, every time you force yourself to do something you don't want to do, you get closer to self-actualization, okay? This is in essence fighting resistance. I already said this. An interesting quote from the Tim Ferriss podcast was when the guy he was interviewing said the phenomenon of when people work really hard to change and incorporate new habits, and sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years, but it's like someone hits a switch and all of a sudden everything explodes, and just like overnight, you are an ultra successful human being. If you look at it another way, look at it in the sense that you are preparing for the moment in the future to truly make an impression. Whenever you ask yourself, oh, why meditate today? Why practice nofap? Why practice all these good habits and avoid all stimulants? It's because you're preparing for that moment. You're preparing for that moment where you end up sitting in a sauna and strike up a conversation because your conversation skills will be so good and all the other benefits that come along with this stuff. And you end up striking up a conversation with some sort of CEO or somebody that could really help you in your career pursuit, or you finally go on that first date with the girl of your dreams, and making an impression will be absolutely no problem whatsoever, right? Maybe you'll meet a business partner or something, right? Everything you do daily on a daily basis is in preparation for these crucial moments that come once every, year and a half, 2 years, right? We don't have many of these moments that we connect with these people and have a chance to make an impression on them, right? Okay, whenever you want to know which way to proceed, think about it as if your friend asked you for advice on how he should proceed, and sit down with him and help him to resolve his problems he's facing, and in the most efficient and rational way possible. So that's interesting, right? Whenever we have to resolve a problem in our life, it's always overcomplicated. So it's this and that and this and that. But if one of your friends comes up to you and asks you how he should proceed with resolving some sort of problem, it's easy. You can tell him exactly the best way to go. Actionable steps you can write down on paper and go, do this first, do this, do this, do this. But when it comes to us, we for some reason have a hard time doing that. Imagine you're coming to yourself with those problems, right? This is what journaling helps with a ton. Okay, again, I have a reminder in here. Read Benjamin Franklin's biography. There are reasons he was chosen to be on the $100 bill, and he's constantly referenced by the world's high achievers and the successful people, right? They're always telling you to read Benjamin Franklin's book. It's really interesting. His autobiography. I love it. There's a reason he's on the $100 bill. Okay, there's a reason for all this stuff, and he talks about all these things. Okay, dude, nofap, all stuff was common knowledge back then. That's crazy. Look at his 13 virtues. Look at down at the bottom. What does it say? His famous 13 virtues. Okay. Okay, so continuation. This is still day 18. I went crazy writing like, fuck, man, 2,000 words or something I wrote. Okay, something that I totally forgot about is putting butter and coconut oil into my coffee because I was just shocked at how much information was pumping out. I'm skipping a lot of valuable information here. I just want to make this quick, this video short. I know you guys have a short attention span. Okay, so I'm just telling myself about cardio. I have no idea why I always dread cardio. It's the hardest part is packing my gym bag and just going and doing my cardio. Actually doing it is fun. Actually doing it is not hard. The beginning, the middle, and the end are all easy. After I walk away from that treadmill every time, it's always the thought of myself like, what the hell was I avoiding? It's the resistance again, okay? It's again that resistance. Okay, if you're gonna do any stretches when entering the gym, use the 80-20 rule. This is more for myself. I know a lot of you guys don't want to stretch, don't want to spend 30 minutes doing stretches or yoga. Just pick out the 20 most important parts. If your back's hurting, stretch your back. If your knees are hurting, stretch your quads and stuff. If your shoulders are hurting and you're having kinks in your shoulders, stretch your shoulders. It's simple, right? Okay, remember, okay, this is something you guys aren't gonna care about this. Okay, this is really good stuff right here, okay? When a man stops taking action, he loses the rewards that come with taking action. This was very deep and insightful for me. I couldn't believe how much truth there was to this. When a man stops taking action, he loses the rewards that come with taking action, okay? People use porn to simulate sex. These days, this is the problem with the electronic technological age, okay? People use porn to simulate sex and procreation. They use online forums, YouTube, and social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're using, Snapchat, to simulate social circles and interaction with other people. They use the likes that they get as a sense of achievement when you didn't achieve anything, but it gives you that dopamine release. Video games simulate the sense of achievement. Again, when you're not achieving anything, you're not going to have a statue made of you because because you won some game. You're not gonna have any schools named after you or any hospitals named after you. This is ridiculous. These are all these electronic stimulations that we've came up to do. Social media to validate himself and feed like everything is all right. Feel like everything is fine in your life when it definitely isn't. People use alcohol to simulate confidence, and they've been doing this since alcohol's been around. Yeah, you want to simulate confidence, start drinking alcohol. You can have the most fake confidence you ever have, and then you're going to be waking up the next morning depressed. Our caveman brain is programmed to fear rejection from women because it still thinks we are in a tribe where rejection means the end of your DNA. We don't live in tribes anymore. If you get rejected, it doesn't matter because you'll never ever see this woman again. Unless she like works with you or something. But usually if you approach a chick on the subway or something or anywhere, you're never gonna see her again. It doesn't matter what she says. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of you guys have approach anxiety. I used to have it too when I was younger. In theory, you can approach 5 to 8 girls per day that are really, really good looking. If you go to the mall, it's not hard to find good looking chicks, or you go anywhere that's crowded. If you do it for 10 days straight, you will have approached 50 to 80 girls. The law of attraction states that a certain percentage of them will say yes to giving you their number. Okay? Women don't judge guys on looks if you don't consider yourself good looking. They judge guys on behavior, right? This is a totally different topic I'm not going to get into right now. The percentage depends on your daily habits, right? The percentage of women that will give you their number depends on your daily habits. How good is your gym habit? How good is your diet? How good is your nofap habit? How good is your meditation habit? Meditation increases focus when you're in the moment and things like this and makes you less nervous, right? Entrepreneurship, your financial habits, right? Are you saving money? Are you doing something to make more of it? Are you taking courses? Are you working extra hard at work, taking extra projects on for a promotion? the books you consume, right? It all comes down to this. All right. You become what you expose yourself to, okay? You are who you surround yourself with. These are all statements that are 100% true. Reading post after post, book after book, watching video after video is nothing more than dopamine seeking, okay? Taking action, Nietzsche said that neurosis is a good thing. It's what an alcoholic would refer to as a moment of clarity. The problem lies with how we react to the brain when it tries to tell us something is wrong and we are not going to achieve our potential. We try to distract the brain with porn, social media, TV, alcohol, etc. What kind of a change is needed to make our brain happy? Maslow tried to answer this, okay? Maslow said, you'll be unhappy as long as you live a life where you are less than you could possibly be. Um, Somebody else made a quote saying, sow a thought and you reap an action. Sow an action and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. And the person that wrote this, Ralph Waldo Emerson, okay? According to Maslow, self-actualizers are defined by a life mission. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Emerson said that. Do the thing you fear, and the fear of death, and the death of fear is certain. Okay, could not be more truth. Okay, the best antidote to worries is taking action. Okay, okay, that's the end of this one. That was day 18 only. Okay.